朋友们，大家好。本期视频是阿米塔布康德在2024年12月印度新德里举行的绿色巴拉特峰会上接受采访的节选。康德曾任印度政府公共政策智库的 CEO， 现为印度 G20 协调人。谈到新能源汽车的发展，他表示，印度的电动汽车行业已经落后于中国等全球领先者5年，强调印度需要付出10倍的努力迎头赶上，绝不能错过目前中国电动汽车被欧美征收高关税而带给印度的大好机会。忧国忧民的康德情绪略显激动，甚至在访谈中毫不留情地当众斥责主持人。我们来看看他是怎么说的。
I remember when I heard you speak a few months ago in Bangalore, you spoke about how the internal combustion engine is a dead technology and that India's future is electric. You also urged the automobile industry to transition to 100% electric mobility in 2- and 3-wheelers by 2030. So, how can this really happen in terms of actioning this? How do you think India's journey towards becoming a global leader in green mobility should play out?
So Chandra, first and foremost, we must be clear that look at the global scenario. The United States has imposed 100% duty on import of vehicles from China. 100% duty is, in the history of tariffs has never been seen before. Europe has imposed a 45% duty from China. Now, if you look at the movement of EVs, China is more than 50% EV. Europe is 23% EV. US is about 10%, and India is just 2%. Just 2%. Our manufacturers are 5 years behind the curve. If they were up to date today, India would be the biggest exporter of EVs to the United States and to Europe with 100% and 45% duties. So we need to accelerate the pace. The disruption will be so rapid and so fast towards electric in the next 5 to 6 years that India needs to go, to my mind, not 30% electric, but minimum 60% electric by 2030. And we need to go 100% electric by 2035. We need to do this because 42 of your 50 cities are the most polluting cities of India. And without the transportation sector being tightened up, and you need to bring disruption through policy changes. You need to tighten the CAFE norms. You need to ensure that only auto should be, the 2-wheelers and 3-wheelers should all go 100% electric in these 42 cities. Without this, India will be, it's like saying that we'll be selling typewriters in a digital age. That's not possible anymore. It's important for India to technologically leapfrog in automobile manufacturing, in battery manufacturing, and in fast chargers, interoperable fast chargers across the country. Without this, we lose out in the automobile revolution because in India, 7% of the GDP comes from the automobile sector. We employ close to about 34 million people in the automobile sector. We've been a champion. There's a technological shift taking place across the world. If India doesn't do this, you lose out the market across the world. You will not be able to export. And therefore, massive disruption by the industry is required and to global size and scale. And this is critical. And I'm making this point because the industry is sitting here, industry is 5 years behind the curve.
Wow, you sound pretty angry, Mr. Khan. But why do you think we are 5 years behind the curve? Because if I look at the numbers, compared to where we were a few years ago, I think till November of 2024, EV sales, at least in the 2-wheeler space, has crossed 1 million. So the scale and volume is still there.
Don't go by numbers. Look at the percent. What is the percent? Less than 2%. What is your size and scale of India? What are you talking? Your analysis is all wrong. 2%. China is about 60% now. We launched the PLI on automobile PLI and battery PLI in 21. Not a single paisa of disbursement has taken place till now. The government has shown its intent.
Why do you think the industry is falling behind? When you say 5 years, it's a very strong statement.
Look around the world what is happening. The scale at which the transformation is taking place. If 100% duties are being imposed across the world, then India should have been benefited. If the world is moving away from China, then who is the next beneficiary of that change? It should automatically be India. India is a trusted partner. Indian exports of EV, two-wheelers, fast chargers, cars, etc. should have penetrated Europe and America by now.
So is this a capital issue? Is it an R&D issue? Is it a technology issue?
It's an entrepreneur issue.
It's an intent issue.
It's an entrepreneur issue of looking 5 years ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. We should have done this much earlier, much faster, much quicker. And I'm making this point because the world is going EV. The world is going EV because the world is looking at 1.5 degrees centigrade. You can't live in a country where 42 of your cities are amongst the 50 most polluting cities of the world. You're creating a chaos and a havoc for the citizens of India. And that's happening because of the transportation sector as well. So the transportation sector of India, young entrepreneurs must take the lead.
I'm sure the industry is listening, sir.
And you can't make yourself dependent on China for batteries and for fast chargers. You have to manufacture in India. You have to. And I appreciate all the startups who've driven this. I appreciate many startups who took the lead in EV. I appreciate many of the startups who started making EV chargers in India and making them interoperable.
Right. But more needs to be done.
10x more needs to be done.
康德列举的数字没错，印度新能源汽车销量在印度的汽车市场中占比仍然很小，大约为总销量的 1.5% 到 2%， 而且还主要是电动两轮车，占据了电动车销量的大部分。而中国这个比率在2024年7月份首次突破了 50%， 也就是说新能源车的销售量超过了传统燃油车。这个比中国原计划2035年达成这个目标提前了11年，标志着中国汽车产业正迎来深刻变革，也难怪印度着急，这个差距确实有点大。印度原来想学习中国的经验，请特斯拉来带动行业的发展，但迟迟谈不拢，老先出面也不行，资本是逐利的，没钱赚就没人来。印度只能寄希望于本土初创企业，所以康德在采访中大声疾呼本土企业要给力，年轻企业家要带头。但印度面临的困难不小。第一，印度的充电网络密度太低，公共充电桩分布不均，尤其是农村地区基本还是空白。而印度的电力又主要是靠煤炭发电，所以电力也不太够。第二，印度消费者对价格高度敏感，说白了还是太穷。而像电池这类的关键零部件，印度的生产能力又极为有限，基本靠进口，所以电动汽车的初始成本仍大大高于传统燃油车。第三，政策缺乏一致性。印度这个国家很能做计划，关于新能源汽车，印度政府推出了 FAME， 即快速采用和制造混合动力汽车与电动汽车计划。这个计划有初始版还有进阶版，为消费者和制造商提供补贴。计划做得很漂亮，但政策执行又存在地区差异，部分邦的支持力度比较低。第四，与中国的比亚迪和宁德时代等企业相比，印度在电池技术和整车研发方面存在着明显的差距，能力确实达不到。康德宣称中国电动汽车如果被欧美狙击，印度理所当然应该受益。我看这个难度不小，可能花10倍的努力还不够。